So the KS3 miner has actually released with a price tag on the Bitmain website, and it's looking like $49,800 per unit. Now, they did say on the website that if you had a code for the giveaway that they did, the 10,000 coupon, then you could use that and it would bring it down to $3,900. So you could be using that if you guessed the right price. However, if not, you're going to be paying around 50k per unit of these Kaspa miners. Now, as it says here, the futures are August to September. That's when they're going to be shipping out. And the specifications, we've already gone over this. Now, in a video that I made 2 days ago, this is talking about the Bitmain, how it actually doesn't make $3,000 per day, because that would only be one miner on the network. Now, I used a figure of 2,000 miners, because I thought Bitmain would be making maybe around 2,000 units. So I calculated the profits on that, and it came to around $129 per day, something like that, from the KS3. However, it's seeming like they've shipped out way more units than that. So firstly, I saw this tweet, ASICs, it's just talking about how ASICs promote centralization on the blockchain and in relation to Kaspa. And then there was a headline that says Bitmain to ship 1,500 Kaspa ASICs to Texas. So there's already 1,000 from Vipera Tech, and I think Son of a Tech on this tweet here shows that Vipera Tech secures 1,500 units of this Bitmain KS3. And then below it, they were talking about other people doing units. So there's now orders total of 2k units. So that's what I calculated my figure with. So as the calculation is said here, and this is the same calculation that I did, it was 2,000 units times 8.3 terahash each equals 16,600. That's an increase of 1,522% on the Kaspa hash rate. So as they said, there's people in the comments, Rabid Mining, Stack are talking about how many units they could be producing. So they were saying expect 3 to 5k, and then maybe 5k plus units. So that could really devastate the network. If we had 5k plus units, the amount of profits to be made then would be slashed like in half from what they were already. So it would have been 129. It would go down to around $60 if there was 5k units of just the KS3. However, there has now been sales from IceRiver, and this is for the exact same miner, the KS3. This is what they've named it. So they had the KS2 and KS1. If we go here and go on shop, we can see the products. So they had the KS1 here and the KS2. So that was doing 2 terahash. This was doing 1 terahash. Now the KS3 and the KS3L are up for sale. And as they said in here, this KS3 does 8 terahash, so nearly as much as the Bitmain KS3. With a little bit more watts, so it could be the same product basically. And then there's a KS3L, which is 5 terahash and then 3,200 units, and you can see them on the website. They are up for pre-sale. However, one of the main things that I wanted to talk about in the video was that they will be shipping out earlier. So exciting announcement, the first batch of our products originally scheduled for the shipping from June 15th to 30th will now be delivered early on June 5th. So we're looking at around 10 days. We can't wait to hear your feedback on our products, share your experience with us. So they're going to be shipping in around 10 days. So the network hash rate is going to be basically looking like a massive spike in the next 2 months. As these KS3 and KS1s come onto the network, that's going to spike it a little bit. And then a month later, when these KS3s from Bitmain come onto the network, and subsequently the KS3 and the KS3L from IceRiver, when they come on the network as well. Now, the fact that they are releasing this KS3, which is basically the same name as the Bitmain's KS3, and the price is slightly under, with a little under on terahash and on watts, leads me to believe that the thought of IceRiver taking all their technology from Bitmain is probably what happened in the start. So they had the KS2 and KS1, which was probably prototyped at Bitmain. Maybe there's some inside sources which stole some of the technology. And these were pretty efficient. I mean, they were extremely efficient. However, the KS3 from Bitmain is way more efficient. So it leads me to believe that maybe there was some R&D done, and they produced a bunch of miners that were really good on the Kaspa network, but they knew that they could be more efficient. So they produced better chips for the KS3, and then subsequently the KS3L is like some kind of prototype in between these two miners, so the KS2 and the KS3. And IceRiver somehow either got a hold of Bitmain's technology, or they bought the chips from the same person. Now, if they bought the chips from the same person, then, that's perfectly fine. However, I believe that the chips that were being produced, they probably, the offshoot chips that weren't as good were put into the KS2s and KS1s, and now they're getting these same chips from Bitmain and from IceRiver to put into these. And as you can see here, IceRiver is like basically undercutting Bitmain just by like $1,000 per unit. I don't really know what this KS3L is in terms of, profitability, because you would much rather go with the IceRiver KS3 than the KS3L. It doesn't offer anything more in terms of terahash, but it still has the same wattage. So I wouldn't recommend either buying this KS3 or getting your KS3 from IceRiver. There's not really much point. Bitmain has, history of being a good ASIC producer. So if you're looking to buy one, I wouldn't even rely on going over to IceRiver. I'd just go over to Bitmain and try get one from there. So you can reserve a spot. However, these are going to be joining the network as well. And this is what I wanted to get into, was that Bitmain have already promised units to certain people. And we're looking at around, let's just say 5,000 units from Bitmain. If that's true, then that's still a lot of hash rate joining the network. It's like, 40 times the network hash rate it is at now. However, we're also going to be getting a subsequent shipment of IceRiver ASICs, which do nearly the same amount of terahash, and plus the KS1, KS2, and the KS3L, those are going to be jumping onto the network. So we're more looking at the network hash rate probably going 60 to 70x what it is right now. And when looking at the hash rate here, we can see that we're at around 1 petahash, so it's probably going to jump up to maybe 50 to 60 petahash, depending on how many units, get onto the network. We could probably see 60 petahash by the end of September when all units of the IceRiver plus the Bitmains are shipped out. And then it's only going to be, more from there. There's going to be other people like Goldshell that want to get in on the action and they want to produce miners for Kaspa. They're going to get in. The network hash rate is going to go up. And to be honest with you, if I was a GPU miner, I'd just start GPU mining right now, getting as much as you can, because later on, it's going to be basically obsolete to mine on a GPU. So for the next, I'd say 10 days before the KS1 and KS2 get shipped out, I'd just mine Kaspa on your GPUs, just so you can get at least some of the profits from GPU mining, and then just switch over to Nexa or Dynex or something like that. So what does this look like in terms of profitability for one of these miners? Well, we're going to go here. So we have terahash, which is going to be 8.3. So that gives us 8.3 terahash. And we need to assume the figure of units. So we're going to do 8.3 times, let's just say that there's 6,000 units of the KS3 out there that can be shipped out, including the IceRiver ones. So I'm going to say that IceRiver have 1,000 units to ship out and Bitmain has 5,000 units. So you add them together. So this is how much terahash will join the network. It's this number, which is 49.8 petahash. Now the network is only at 1.16 petahash. So the profits from one of these miners will be divided by basically 50 times. So the daily profits right now, as we can see on ASIC miner value, is at $1,613 per day. So we take that 1,613 and divide it by 50, because the difficulty on the network is going to increase by a factor of 50. So in theory, you're going to divide the profits by 50. So we do that calculation and that gives us $32 per day. Now that's still incredible for ASIC miners, as if we go on ASIC miner value here, the most profitable is the L7, which is only bringing in $10 a day. And this KS3 would still bring in $32 a day if there was 6,000 units on the network, which is still pretty good in terms of profitability. It outbeats basically every other ASIC. Even the L7 is doing a third of what this KS3 could do. That is obviously dependent on the price of Kaspa, as it is having a dip off into the charts right now. And when looking here, you can see on this day chart, we've dipped nearly to 0.01 cents. Sorry, that scrolled down. 0.01 cents. We did dip down to 0.0121. And in the last 7 days, it's dropped around maybe 2/3 of a cent, something like that. And in the last month, obviously we had that high of 3 cents, and now it's all the way down back to 1 cent. So depending on the price of Kaspa, if it continues to go down, obviously this gap in profitability is going to get closer. to the L7 profitability, Kaspa coin would actually have to go under, I think, 0.007 maybe for it to be unprofitable on this calculation that we did at $32 a day on 6,000 units of this KS3. However, we're definitely going to see more units of KS3, so Kaspa either has a price increase and that leads to profitability, or Kaspa has a price decrease and then all the miners are basically rendered obsolete. So we'll see how this plays out, and we'll see how IceRiver plays out when they actually ship out, and that's going to be in 5 days. I'll probably make an update as people get to having them online. They will probably be making loads of profits for the initial first couple of days before Bitmain comes onto the network with all of their units, and then we'll probably see a decrease in profitability for all miners out there that are mining Kaspa. So as I said, my advice would just be to mine on Nexacoin, Dynex, Radiant, something like that. I know Radiant is getting FPGAs soon. I think it was confirmed that there's bitstreams out there for it. However, I would just mine on Kaspa for the next 10 days before any of these ASICs jump onto the network. Just accumulate some Kaspa before you can't mine Kaspa anymore on a GPU. So that's it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to comment your thoughts on the Kaspa ASIC. And go check out the latest video on my Dynex coin. Is it a scam? We looked at the CEO of Dynex, it not being a cryptocurrency necessarily and being a technology company, and trying to understand Dynex Solve.